There has been an Episcopal congregation in Watertown, Connecticut since before the Revolutionary War. The first Christ Episcopal Church was built in 1765. That church burned down, and it was replaced in 1794 by the church shown on the right in this sketch. That church building was replaced in 1855 by this building. In 1850, an Episcopal congregation was formed in the Oakville district of Watertown. Around 1887, All Saints Episcopal became a mission of Christ Church. The main part of All Saints was erected in 1888, and the church was completed in 1898. The Christ Church building was replaced in 1924 with the building which still stands today. The current All Saints in Oakville replaced the old church in 1960. Those two 19th century churches were different due to the culture of the people who lived near them. In the 20th century, the distance between them became meaningless, and the differences were more philosophical or driven by the rector at the time. Many Episcopal families in Watertown have a history with both churches. Sadly, in 2007, the rector of Christ Church and a portion of the congregation separated from the Episcopal Church. The remaining Episcopalians could not afford to maintain the building, and it was sold to staff school. It is now known as the Woodward Chapel. But the congregation of Christ Church Episcopal survived and even grew with the help of Reverend Mary Gates. Taft allowed scheduled access to the church building for services, but the writing was on the wall. It was clear that dealing with the lack of a physical home and the work of managing a parish were excessive and unnecessary burdens on the small congregation. The logical solution was the merger of the old master with the little mission. We have learned in the working of this merger that it is also the right solution. We believe it to be God's will. The congregations of All Saints and Christ Church are welcoming this merger and look forward to our future together as All Saints with Christ Episcopal Church. Listen to the parishioners of both parishes as they respond to the question, what does your church mean to you, and what does this merger mean to you?
Hi, my name is Barbara O'Brien. I moved here in 1970 with my husband and my two small children. At the time, I lived on Middlebury Road, and the church to go to, I was Episcopal. Christ Church was the church I could walk to. So we walked to church and joined Christ Church. Through the years, my husband was transferred, and in the, I don't exactly remember, but the 1990s, we were transferred and we came back. When we came back, the church had changed, as had, everything changes. And we were not as comfortable in our church at that time. So we went over to All Saints, and that seemed to be fine with us. And now it's complete circle, because now both churches are joined, and I feel that it's great, that it was meant to be for us. And what was the second question?
You answered both questions.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I figured. Okay.
What is All Saints mean to me? I was just saying, I grew up actually in Christ Church and grew up there, and then similar, if you hear Barbara's story, but similar, I grew up there, I moved away, and I came back, and when my wife and I came back, we lived closer to All Saints and with some changes at Christ Church. So we went to All Saints, and we really enjoyed All Saints, knew a lot of people there. I grew up in the neighborhood, so we enjoy it. But with the merger, I find it to be very exciting. I think I know a lot of people over at Christ Church who are coming over. Sounds like a lot of fun. We had a bunch of meetings ahead up, and looks like we can go forward and do God's work. And I think everybody's going to have a good time in the mission and get forces together.
Good morning. I'm Colleen Malhut, and I am a parishioner here at All Saints. And I thought long and hard about what I would say and what this parish means to me. And this parish is my family. This is my extended family. And as far as the merger, now my family has grown, and I'm very excited about the growth and the new birth of our church. And let's do it.
I'm Kathy Trowbridge from Christ Church in Watertown. And I was a member of that church on and off for the last 60 years. I was baptized there with all my siblings. I was married there twice, buried my father there, buried my mother here. So I just want to say there were a lot of things that transpired in that church, wonderful things, wonderful memories. And those will always stay with us. But this is what is happening now between the two communities. We are starting anew, and I look forward to a new beginning. To everything there is a season and a time, to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn, a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to cast away. A time to send and a time to sow. A time to keep silence and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time of war and a time of peace. Ecclesiastes 3 says it all. Thank you.
Hi, Charlie. Can you see? Well, I got a couple of little things that everybody will know. Irene and I were married at Christ Church, and we stayed there for a lot of years. And it changed, so we went to All Saints.
Howard, can you
Yes.
start over?
I said my wife and I were married at Christ Church, and
Okay.
brought the family up there, and everything changed over years. And All Saints has been an avenue for us to do what we wanted to do at all times. And I think this is the same thing that's going to help the people from Christ Church and ourselves to be able to work together and make it as big as it always was. So it's a pleasure to know that the two churches are joining each other and as one and work together as one. So it's just our congratulations, and I think our new it's going to be for the best for everybody. Anyway, thank you.
I'm Father Jim Spear, and this parish means to me, it served as my first church and coming to Connecticut back in 2007. And it's been my first church, went back to being my congregation in 2013 when His Lordship didn't want me to have a parish anymore. And it's my spiritual base. When I'm not doing supply ministry, I can stand up at convention and say, yes, I'm from All Saints Oakville. And the Episcopal Church, I still love the Episcopal Church. I love the prayer book. It's a user-friendly prayer book. And it's a wonderful form of progressive Catholicism, and means a great deal. I've been part of the Episcopal Church since April 1955, when I was not quite 5 years old, and I was baptized in St. Edmund's Episcopal Church, San Marino, California. So I've been part of it ever since, and it means a lot to me.
My name is Melita Harris. I'm 72 years old, and I've been a member of Christ Church for that many years. My dad was a very important person in Christ Church and taught us how important church was. And I grew up there with choir and president of the youth group, and we'll expound further because there was so much that we had at that time. And then when I moved away and came back, I raised my two boys there. So I have a long history with the church and with the Episcopal Church in particular, and been very important part of my life. And the way that I try to live my life is through what I learned in that church. But going forward, I think this is just the best thing that could happen. A few years ago, All Saints was asked to join us, and that didn't occur. And then things have changed now at Christ Church, and we find ourselves in a position of asking to come here. And it's a wonderful opportunity. I look forward to it. It's a new start for all of us. It's a new opportunity also to do more work in the community. And I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Elaine Cuquaro Biondi, and I just wanted to say that I am grateful for this opportunity to use the many hands of all saints with Christ Church to bring Christ more alive in our community. I am very grateful to be a part of this unity.
Hi, I'm Linda Caesar. I'm the senior warden at All Saints Church. On September 20th in the gospel, or in the second reading, Paul exhorted us to live your life in a manner worthy of the gospel of Christ. And I believe over the last 40 years here at All Saints, that's what I have been able to do. We have found a church, though, that is ready to merger. And with all the works that Christ Church did in their wonderful history and in the history of All Saints, which were such good works, we expect that they will continue. And finally, I'm reminded of a hymn, and I would just like to paraphrase it, that as we approach the merger of the two churches, all we ask of the Lord is forever to remember us as loving him. Thank you.
I decided I had to say something because I'm the old guard here now. My early church beginnings were at Christ Church, where Reverend Robert Appleyard was our priest and Dorothy Ferguson was our organist and choir director. I've wonderful memories of the choir and the operettas and Bob Appleyard's kindness to me as a child. All Saints became my home and family when I was around 9 or 10. Harry Elbone was my Sunday school teacher, and I felt very welcomed. Here I am some 69 years later, still cherishing the fact that you are all my family. The merger brings my two parishes together, and that seems right to me. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lowell Dwyer. I'm the senior warden at Christ Church in Watertown, Connecticut. I've been a member of Christ Church all my life, baptized, confirmed, married there. My children were baptized there. My grandchildren were baptized and confirmed there. It's a difficult situation when you're leaving another church. But it's also a great situation because I know we're coming into a place where we are loved and wanted, and we have the same spiritual devotion. We are going to fit together like a hand in a glove. And I'm so looking forward to coming together here at All Saints with Christ Church and starting our future. Thank you.